Hi, it's Alison from digiteachonline.com. Today I wanted to do a little video for you all about teaching online with Zoom. So many people are getting into teaching online, and I am, obviously being the owner of DigiTeach Online, very happy about that. However, Zoom have had lots of changes that have come about recently on their platform with some excellent new features. So I'm going to take you briefly through how you set yourself up to running classes on Zoom and how you can actually use some of their new amazing features. Let's go. Now, when you arrive on Zoom, or if you Google Zoom, it will take you to this website, and it is a Zoom US website. Okay, so if you get US come up, don't worry about it. Okay, if you're not from the US. So Zoom is mostly known as a conferencing app for running online video conferences, meetings, webinars, etc., etc. But actually, it's if you're teaching online, or you want to know how to teach online, or you're already teaching and you want to take your teaching online, then Zoom is a very good, affordable way of starting your online teaching business for low cost. However, if you don't want to be bogged down with, working out your own website and virtual classroom and booking system and payment system and resources and templates and all the other things that go along with successfully teaching online, we do have a done for you online tutoring website, which we've now made available in the DigiTeach Online Academy, and we're going to quickly show you before we go back to Zoom. So you simply get everything, and we have done everything. So you literally just drag and drop. Everything has been done for you. A website, the tech. We even have our own private directory where you can list yourself as a tutor to get students, and we market that very well as well. Okay, so if you don't want to go through the quite long and laboursome process of setting yourself up for, it's £199 right now, €199 I think it is, then you can, have it all done for you with lots of support and help from us over at DigiTeacher. Okay, let's get back to Zoom. The first thing you need to do is you need to download the Zoom app. Okay, it will ask you to do that. And there's something else that you need to download as well. So once you've created your account, which is quite an easy thing to do, I'm not going to go through that now. The second thing you need to download is, let me go back here, sorry, is in the resources tab up here, you need to go down to download Zoom client. Okay, this is a really, really, really excellent tool, and I'm going to show you exactly what that is. Okay, this new, relatively new tool here is really good because it allows you to do a lot of things. Now, if you go to the really small, I think they could have made this a bit bigger. If you go to the settings tab, you're going to get a whole load of other settings that are going to come up. And these are really useful for you when you are actually teaching. Now, you can use these pre-set up and during the class as well. And I think these are available only for the pro accounts. And the pro accounts are about 10 or 12 dollars a month. The difference between the two is with a pro account, you can have longer sessions instead of it just being 40 minutes, and you can have more than 3 participants in a class. So if you're teaching a group class, or you're teaching seminars, or you're hosting training meetings, whatever it is you're doing, then you're going to need the pro account. And I think really for like the small amount that it costs every single month, you get so many more benefits. So obviously you need to do your settings. This is great. And this is like an app, this bit. So you sort out all the different settings that you want, and you can even choose between light, dark, which is, you know, really great. And here you can sort out your video. Now, unfortunately, Zoom removed ManyCam from their video settings, which is a bit of a shame, because if you're a ManyCam user for online teaching, which many of us are, then that has quite a lot of benefits. So you can't now use ManyCam inside of Zoom. If you don't know what ManyCam is, I'm going to leave a link to the video right here, and you can go along and find out about ManyCam, because that's also very useful for teaching online. Okay, so you decide obviously what ratio you want, which camera you want to make Zoom work with, and other different things. The audio, let's go down to the audio. Now, this is obviously really good. Sometimes students will say, oh, it's too high, or it's too loud, or it's too quiet. So this is obviously a very good way of making sure that your audio settings are right. And I would say as well, just as a general thing, every single time you go to do a lesson, check your video, check your audio. I would always do that. And you can screen share. Share screen is, you can do that from here, and you can also do that from the actual classroom itself. So you've got lots of different options with the share screen, and I'm going to show you that more actually in a class, because you can't see as well here as you can when it's demonstrated. You've also got the chat settings, which are really good. So this, you can actually control this a little bit. If you've got a group of students, let's just say you've got a group of quite young students, one thing they're all going to love doing is chatting throughout the lesson when they shouldn't be. So you can control that here, and you can also control it in the classroom. Now, one thing I really love here is the virtual backgrounds. Now, I work quite a lot with a green screen, obviously. Got a little bit of a wrinkle there, but it's still working, which is really great, because lots of virtual classrooms and video settings like this, if you've got a wrinkle like that, you would see it really clearly. And here, as you can see, that's really fluid. There also isn't like the green tinge that you can sometimes get if you're not kind of used to doing you know, video work or working with a green screen, and it's picked it up really well. The other thing is, you can actually, from here, if you select I have a green screen, you can actually upload your own image, which I did just for demonstration purposes here. And as you can see, that's, you know, really good. The clarity is really good. Now, on the point of a green screen, don't go out and spend 200, 300 and crazy prices on a green screen. This is a $13 voile, I think it's sold at. So kind of like a curtain, just one panel from Amazon. It's 2 years old, and it looks quite bad here right now, but I actually, the reason I bought it is because I bought a really big one, and it goes over the entire wall in my studio. So it's you know, really good. And also you can move these around, you can take them up and down, you can wash them. So, you know, if you want to get started teaching online quickly and for not a lot of money, this does the job, as you can see, just as well as any £300 or £400 green screen. This is the results, and what we're looking for is results. Okay, so you can also check out all of your recording and sort that out. Where do you want your actual recording to go? Know that when you start using Zoom for teaching online, if you don't know how to do it and you've never, you know, taught online before, and you want to obviously find out a little bit more about how you use these things, know that when you teach online with Zoom, that it automatically, after every single class, saves the recording. So actually you are being recorded, and so are your clients. So in your privacy policies, you do need to kind of let them know that the class is being recorded, especially if it's children, you know, just so that parents are aware of that, and obviously that they have, you know, you have their permission to do so. Okay, so here you've got all of your profile, which you can put, and you can edit your profile as well. You can just go to settings and you can edit it. And you've got statistics, feedback, keyboard shortcuts, and accessibility. So I'll let you have a little look at that in your own time. But for now, let's get into how do we actually set up a class in Zoom. So I'm going to take it you've gone along to Zoom and you set up your account, and obviously you can set up the free account for, you know, for free. You don't have to pay anything. I am going to go quickly through the pricing. So obviously you've got the free account, and you've got the pro account, which has got all of the basic features, but you've obviously got all of these admin controls, which are you know, a lot better. And the big difference between the two is the 40 minutes and the 45 minutes. Now, most teachers online sell their classes or market their classes by the 45 minutes or the hour. If you're doing children's classes, quite often they're 25 minutes, but the majority of online teachers, I think, are teaching you know, for about 45 minutes. If it's group classes, by experience, you're probably going to need more than 25 minutes if you've got a group of small children or youngish children. Okay. And obviously you can, you know, use Zoom on your phone. I have had in the past quite a lot of students connect to the lessons and the classes on their phone using Zoom. So they just go to Google and they find, you know, Google Zoom, and they just download the phone app, and, you know, it's really easy. And I think that's a big thing here, that it's actually really easy. Okay, so let's go along to the little icon here up in the right hand corner, which is your account. I'm going to go to the account, and this is how you set up a class. So basically you've got a choice of meetings, webinars, recordings, and your settings. Okay, now to set up a class, it's really simple. You go to meetings and you go schedule a new meeting. It's kind of almost idiot proof. So let's just put here, I don't know. Okay, so here we go. So I've just put in here the topic, English Class Advanced. You can put a description in here if you really need to. You obviously fill out when and the time that it's going to start and how long it's going to be. So obviously, unless you've got the pro account, it's going to have to be 40 minutes or under. If you had the free account, you would have to go to kind of like 30 minutes. Is it going to the time zone? This is really important. Now, this is really good. You obviously go by your time zone, so where you're living. And what this automatically does for people that are sent the link is it kind of tells them the time zone. And that's really important, especially if you're teaching with international students. Is it reoccurring? Is registration required? So this would be, you would use this in the case that they would need to email and you would have to manually admit them. And obviously the personal ID. Now this here, the meeting password, is actually, although it's got it's ticked here, this I think from the 6th of April or something like that, Zoom, because of security, are now requiring everybody to use a password. And I actually think it's quite a good idea as well. So this means obviously only people with the password can come into the meeting. So that's really good. So you can then choose, do you want it to be a video class or an audio class or both? So obviously that's up to you. And here you've got enable join before host, and mute participants upon entry. That might be a good one if you have young children. Enable waiting room. Okay, now this is very, very useful. This means that basically before you are actually in your virtual classroom with your students, that they are actually in another virtual room and they can't see you. So that gives you a few minutes just to double check that everything is okay, your settings are okay, and you've got everything where you need it to be. So I would definitely use that. And also, if you have again a class of a group class and you have got students that are perhaps misbehaving and muting isn't working, then you can send them to the waiting room. That's very good, so bear that in mind. Okay, so let's just say we are going to set a class up for 11 a.m. Okay, let's have a look and see then what it's like in the class. So when you press on start meeting, Zoom will prompt you and say open Zoom US. Say yes, and it will literally connect you to your meeting. So meeting is class, and you can actually also stylize the buttons so that it says class and not meeting. Okay, so let's have a little look at the different options here. Okay, so it doesn't appear first of all, but if you take your mouse and you wiggle it over, you get this black bar that comes across. And quite often when you go into class, you will get another bar, a floating bar that goes across the top that gives you even more things like annotation, which is drawing. So obviously you can mute, you can unmute, you can also hear use or change your settings. So change your microphone settings. So if something's happening in class or, you know, something isn't working, then you can switch to another microphone if you have it. Obviously you've got your security, which is enable waiting room. Now what happens when a participant, so when a student enters the waiting room, you get this like doorbell sound, bang bang, and you'll get a notice saying so and so has entered the waiting room, and you have to admit them. So that's really nice. There is the function whereby you can actually let them come directly in, but I think it's nice to kind of be able to control it. So here are all your participants, and if you had your students in the class with you right now, their names would be all along here as well. Okay, so we've got the chat here, which obviously you can chat and they can chat, so keep an eye on that. Now sharing screen is really nice because it isn't just what you can see here. So if I click on share screen, you can choose to share the desktop, and yes, my desktop is super messy. You can go to the whiteboard, I'm going to show you that. And the Zoom whiteboard is, you know, it's pretty good. Now, this is the black bar that I was telling you about. So you can write, okay. So another thing you can do with screen sharing is you can just decide, you know, which part of your screen you want to share. You can share all of your screen, or for example, you can just share PowerPoint. You can click on that and just share the PowerPoint screen, which is here. And you can also decide to share in the advanced files just a portion of the screen. Okay, so let's just say you only wanted to share this part of the PowerPoint and you wanted to keep all of this going. Now, why would this be a good idea? Because if you go into slideshow, which I'm going to do now to show you, then it basically, it basically expands the entire PowerPoint over your entire screen, and you can't see anything else. Now, if you're working with multiple screens and multiple documents, that might be a little bit of an issue. So this is kind of quite a neat way to kind of be able to let them see only what they need to see, know what is coming up here, and also kind of be in control of things. Okay, the other thing as well is make sure you share your computer sound, especially if you are playing online games or you want to have claps and this type of thing. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to hear it. So, it's always quite a good thing to check at the beginning of the class. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear the computer sound? And do something so that they can actually hear that. Obviously, something else you can do as well in the advanced files is that you can actually share advanced files. So if you don't have it actually on your hard drive, you've got obviously your Microsoft OneDrive, your Google Drive, and a box. So there's like so many ways to have kind of access to all the stuff that you need when you are, teaching online with Zoom. So I actually think that using Zoom to teach online is really, it is quite good. And know that you can actually, if you take like the Pro package, you can actually brand it, to your website or your tutoring business or whatever it is that you've got. You don't just have to stick with the Zoom. Now, how do students draw, and how do you draw? Unbelievably, it's with the word annotate, not draw. I'm not sure how useful or unuseful that is, but if you click on that, then you get this bar come up that we saw earlier. And if you click off, it goes away. However, you will be amazed the amount of people that have this, students that have this, because they see from their side the same selection of controls, and they will always say, oh, I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to draw. You have to tell them, you have to go onto the annotate button. And what I have done in the past is I click on text and I literally write. So what I have done in the past is I go along to this here and I say, oh, you need to click on the annotate button, and I write annotate, and then they are able to see quite clearly and easily the button that they need to write. If you go along to more, this is where you can get lots of different things and extra options. So you kind of got a lot of this already in your settings pad here, but it's just giving you lots and lots of different options. Some people work better seeing it obviously in icons like this. Some people kind of like it like this. This is kind of more of a general way of doing your settings before you go into class. And the other way is how you would kind of control things when you are in class. And obviously don't forget to end the meeting, which is here. So thanks for watching, and I hope that's helped you a little bit more if you did not know how to use Zoom to teach online, or you were looking to see what other features Zoom had to help you teach better online. See you again soon. Goodbye.